Hello everybody and welcome back. This is our latest edition of week 2 of stage 2 of the Quake Pro League. Now up next it's going to be quite an interesting matchup because we have Rapha versus ZenAku. ZenAku recently though, Flea, has been looking really good. But it's not just ZenAku that's been shaping up. I feel like a lot of our challengers are starting to do well as well. And we have so much to go over. ZenAku last week really brought his A game, impressed the hell out of basically everyone, flexing on them, as you can grow to expect. But Rapha is going to be a pretty tough opponent.
Yep, ZenAku indeed, he managed to beat out Dewey 3-0 in his matchup last week. He also had a pretty decent showing at the Stage 1 finals, where he first won his relegation game against Sip. And now we're back on the topic of challengers. Yesterday we had our first week of the challengers of this stage. Sip and Supreme GTI, which were the two top NA challengers who actually got to play relegation games, once again qualified already. So very clearly, consistently, some of the best players there. And then on the EU side of things, we've got Sirius and Stone, who also already qualified for the final week of the Challengers. But that's still quite some time away, so let us first introduce the second player of this matchup. It is, of course, the man himself, Liquid Rapha, our current champion and holder of the belt.
What can you really say about Rapha that hasn't been said a million times already? I mean, he's not just a champion. I think he's an inspiration to competitive gamers everywhere because his absolute legacy that he's crafted for himself is pretty ridiculous. Not just across Quake champions, but like a whole bunch of previous Quakes, to the point where through Quake champion accolades, I think that he has been quite comfortably cemented as greatest of all time. I see a lot of people, and I definitely agree, kind of use that term when describing Rapha, because when you take his already existing legacy and then you throw Quake champions on top of that, it's kind of hard to dispute, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically when it comes to Quake champions, the man has been the greatest, right? If you look back at Quake Live, there is a bit of a debate. Is it him? Is it Cypher for that era of professional Quake? But when it comes to Quake champions, no one even comes close. The man won Season 1 of the Quake Pro League, then went on to immediately become the grand champion of this first finals of Season 2. Clearly, he's an unstoppable force, and ZenAku has got his work cut out for him today.
On that note, let's take a look at what the journey's actually going to be. We'll bring up the picks and bans, all the stuff that you know by now. Let's take a look at Molten Falls first. It's going to be another battle of the big bodies. We get to see Scalebearer again. We've seen him like 3 times today, which is more than you usually see him on a weekly basis. After that, Veil of Nath, Ranger versus Galena, and then Exile coming out. Rapha with the Nyx, and it'll be the Doomslayer for ZenAku. Not really surprised to see the emphasis on, I think, double jumps on Exile. You can already see the amount of walls and the navigation that you need, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on that one. But Rapha, he's going into this one, Flea, as the favorite to win, as he often is. But ZenAku, I mean, he's been looking really good lately.
Good ban from Rapha as well, right? To take away the kill. We know that ZenAku absolutely loves running the big body champions, and I think that Rapha, he is aware that ZenAku, yes, he had to play a relegation game, but as you suggested yourself, the man definitely has to be taken seriously. I even saw ZenAku win a few of their practice matches last week. They haven't played yet this week, but last week they went head-to-head during a few practice sessions, and while Rapha was still clearly the overall victor, there were a few maps where ZenAku really did surprise.
The grind has been paying off for ZenAku. You know, we see a lot of players that you can almost detect there's a certain point in their Quake career where they kind of look at the situation, and I think a lot of players get that motivation when they make it into Pro League. They pretty much look at the hand they've been dealt and they go, right, I'm going to grind now. I'm going to go super hard, and this is where I try and become the best I possibly can be. It's almost like they make it into the Pro League and it's like an instant wake-up call where they start to really like knuckle down and practice. We've seen it with players like Chain, for example, and ZenAku, I actually think, is one of those players that's kind of coming into that element, because ZenAku now is a better ZenAku than we've ever seen in Pro League, and we're fresh into stage 2, so he could be quite the sleeper hit, but he's kind of got the final boss early, so that kind of has its pros and cons, I think, and we'll see how he's shaping up against the world's finest.
ZenAku is definitely eager to improve, and he has been definitely making strides as well, right? I just saw him in Rapha's chat after the games asking questions, talking about, hey, how did this end up going wrong for me? Or I've seen him talk to other players as well, other members of the Arena FPS community, just talking about, what can I do to improve? How can I get better? So really, hungry is definitely the right word. I think there are very few players who are putting in the same amount of effort as ZenAku is right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing that pay off. And if his match against Dewey last week is anything to go by, we can expect great things from him coming up.
Looks like we are moments away. Thank you all so much for joining us so far here for our latest week of the Quake Pro League. Now we get to see the champ, Rapha, up against ZenAku, who has been making waves recently. This is quite the challenge for him, and we'll see if he can pull it off, as now Rapha sporting that fine jersey, if I might add.
Indeed. Proudly repping Team Liquid. Sorlag versus Scale. Two thick champions, a lot of stack to work with. Rapha running Sorlag, slightly more mobile because of the air control, but when it comes to those bursts of speed, ZenAku has of course got that ball rush that Rapha has to reckon and keep in mind at all times. Rapha unintentionally delaying heavy for a second there.
Oh, and there's the immediate catch. A little bit of that opening damage. The push towards Mega. The knock-up. What? Looking at that from ZenAku's point of view was quite an experience, because he truly had absolutely no idea where Rapha got sent flying right there.
Rapha, 1 point of health, somehow getting away. The bull rush combined with the rocket sending him flying up. And then, thanks to the air control, he just steered himself onto that top ledge. That was a death sentence for Rapha until that happened. And somehow, he manages to make it go in his favor. Now he's got the stack advantage, and ZenAku is on the back foot. He's gonna hear that rocket jump coming on. He knows that he's in a bad spot right now. Rockets, they need to be sublime. One more rail can do it. Can he connect with the bull rush?
No!
Denied just before he can hit Rapha.
But Rapha just spawned, so he's not going to be particularly healthy himself. However, it will be Rapha having way more weapons to punish a rather obvious but only possible jump pad. Now ZenAku is going to secure that frag. A little bit of a bonus, actually, taking the LG off Rapha's corpse, so he's not going to have to go up and take the LG himself, go out of his way for it. Now Rapha just spawning near rail. I think this could be quite a potential push here for ZenAku, because he knows now that Rapha only has rail, but that said, he's hitting all of these shots. Now the bull rush, ZenAku, all or nothing. He's going to miss Rapha! His positioning, he knows there's no way that bull rush is hitting me if I jump down there. Bloody hell. Yeah.
Just the momentum, the speed that you have as Scale Bearer will send you flying far over your opponent. So Rapha knows that if he drops down at the right moment, he will be scot-free and can even get a shot off himself. ZenAku now making his way over to the heavy. It's the next major item to spawn. He wants to get positioning. Rapha missing a few of these important rails. And ZenAku's stack is looking daunting right now.
Now it looks like this fight breaking out towards Mega. A big payout there from ZenAku, but a really smart push, actually. The confidence to be able to hit those rails. Looking in the right place, but not quite able to hit the kill shot. It'll be Rapha in return, able to land. Man, ZenAku, he did everything right except that final shot, which ultimately is what got him killed.
So confident by Rapha as well. Just to push right there, even though he was railable himself, still finding 2 rail angles to punish ZenAku. Love how he's sticking around here as well, because he knows that ZenAku just doesn't have anything to take a fight at that range. All ZenAku can do is shoot those nails and hope that some connect, while Rapha, with deadly precision, can use the railgun to whittle away that heavy that was just picked up.
I often feel like it's a bit easier to hit that Scale Bearer than it is for a Sorlag, mostly for the speed differences. Scale Bearer, more of a walking rectangle. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to miss him. Sorlag a little bit more tricky. Oh, there's a bit of a juggle. Not enough really to sway him, as now this Mega's going to spawn. It's Rapha in return, dropping down for a bit more. Still pretty even Stevens, all things considered. I'm liking this confidence of ZenAku. He's playing fearless.
And I think that that's something that you have to do when going up against Rapha. You can't let the Rapha factor intimidate you too much, right? There's a lot of players who are like, this is the greatest player right now. I have to play such a different game. Shoddy, can it come clutch? Indeed it can. ZenAku, sliver of health left, will nevertheless escape. Giving up Mega, that's definitely the wise decision right there.
Good, yeah, it's definitely a good call. You know, you can give up the Mega. You know you're going to probably get what could be a free rail. Rapha's just spawned, so he's not going to have a rail in return. Undo some of that work. But now, tricky position for ZenAku because he is far from healthy. Bull Rush is available, yeah, but there's no armor. A bit obvious going up near rail. It's almost why Rapha's here in the first place. Catches the surprise! Not ready for him to be around that corner, that's for sure. And hang on, now the Bull Rush is scary.
That was a really good play. Oh, but that jump. So careless. Not expecting Rapha to still be holding the angle, making it such an easy shot for the American to hit. ZenAku, he played that so well, setting up at the bottom of the bounce pad, and then that one jump just threw away any sort of an advantage that he had managed to get from that. And now it's all tied up once again, but it is a Rapha with a tremendous stack, and ZenAku now has to remain on the back foot. Till he can get at least a lightning gun and an angle, an opportunity to steal a major item or at least do good damage.
Now, ZenAku has some pretty important weapons. He's lacking an LG, but he has a rail at the very least. The rail's been a pretty large factor, but this is a fight that is going to be so hard to win. Rapha just so incredibly stacked. Granted, the fact that he's as weak as he is, it's good that ZenAku was able to at least get that, but yeah, that was a hard call to make.
Good position from Rapha right there. He knows that ZenAku doesn't have rail, so he's holding those long corridors, looking for these lines of sight that he knows his opponent can't match. ZenAku again, a little bit careless on these jumps. One more will do it. Can he find the last shotgun he needs? Indeed he can, but Rapha trades with a rocket. ZenAku still one frag behind. It's a race for heavy.
So many trades that definitely ZenAku would rather not take. He just wants to get a frag. Kind of tricky sometimes, though, the nature of these large champions. ZenAku gets a frag and he's weak, and Rapha spawns with even a slightly good weapon. Might be able to finish the job, but they're starting to trade it. ZenAku, big risk, and with the Bull Rush, looks like he misses the shot, though. A little bit of damage that was just left on the table is what will deliver the death sentence. That is tragic for poor old ZenAku.
If ZenAku rewatches this game, there is going to be so many of those opportunities where he's like, a little more. That shoddy, if that was a little bit more on target, things could have changed so much. 3 minutes left to go. Rapha only has a 1 frag lead, but he's getting the best in this situation. ZenAku, unprepared for him to be waiting at the bottom of those stairs, and then when you start running down them, you've got that momentum carrying you into your opponent's LG. Makes it very difficult to survive those engagements.
ZenAku has been able to make things nice and close. Not much of this map is remaining. If hitting one good shot. No! Misses the second, but the Bull Rush! Oh, if he didn't have the Bull Rush, he would have been toast.
This is a brawl, Ketchup.
Yeah, it is.
Far more than I would have expected, even with the heavy champions.
When do you often see people fight Rapha and get this many frags on him?
Not often, that's for sure. Also think that how often do you see people actually force Rapha into these kinds of brawls? Usually Rapha is just so good at setting the pace of the game that he can avoid playstyles that he wants to dismiss altogether, but ZenAku is really making him work for it.
And 1 minute. 1 frag in 2 minutes, sorry. All he needs. Oh, but that's a painful rocket and an aggressive rocket jump. Hang on a minute, though. That 1 light armor. Rapha being able to take the Mega, gets the sick rail. And now the job for ZenAku becomes much, much harder.
1 frag, that's just 1 good engagement. 1 solid bull rush into a shotgun or a rocket gone right. But 2, you need to do that once and then deal with a slippery sword like who is just going to run down the clock. So ZenAku, this is a huge challenge for him, especially if Rapha just does that rocket jump, pulling the little old Olay over the bull.
I remember watching a Rapha stream back when this game was in its like closed test, and he did that. I think it was against 0-4 actually. If I remember it correctly. The original anti-Bull Rush tech.
been around for ages. ZenAku now, he knows he just has to push. He has to apply pressure. But does he have the opportunity to do so?
Oh, ZenAku
loving
gets
this.
a surprising super shotgun at close range. Oh, but the acid, no! Oh dear, Flea, no, not like this, mate.
Not like this. And that was such a clever play from ZenAku as well. Rapha was just completely expecting him to go for the health bubbles to clear off that poison. But then ZenAku was right there with the shotgun waiting, looming.
Hang on.
Not over yet, but he needs more.
He gets it! On the frame, it looked like. But now, Rapha, he's a large champion. He spawns with a giant stack. ZenAku, he's found him, but can he chase him? The LG, it's all he wants. Gets the rush. He triggers the immediate sudden death. ZenAku pulls this one out of nowhere. And the ball rush is going to be it. The big LG push. ZenAku, can he do this? He's so close, Flea.
Is Rapha going to lose the first weekly in forever?
ZenAku.
And is it going to be ZenAku who does it? ZenAku secures Mega. Stack advantage, favoring the Australian right now. Rapha, looking for some small armors. Maybe already tried to set up for heavy.
That is a head-on collision that Rapha does not want to deal with in this situation. You've got a scale bearer. He's still got perfect timing. ZenAku keeping that clutch, keeping composed. No rockets, though. But the stack. Oh, my God, the stack. Can ZenAku pull off this incredible win? It has been so long since Rapha has been in this situation on a weekly. The Enlightened One, looking to push. There's the defensive rocket. Oh, Rapha, no! The rail narrowly misses. The rails are missing. Bad news. In and out. There is some stress. You can tell that both players, they are feeling some of the pressure. There's the opening rail. The light armor was taken to stop the bleeding. But ZenAku still in charge of stack.
Barely, though. Rapha is doing an excellent job at keeping his opponent in check. Landing some incredible shots here and there. ZenAku pushing in aggressively. Rapha in a bad spot. Will he drop that? He does! ZenAku taking down Rapha for the first time in what? I don't even want to think about how many stages we have to go back to see Rapha lose a map in a weekly. And it's against ZenAku. Catch up.
That is a lot of damage, by the way. They combined had more than 10,000 damage dealt in that map. That was a all-out brawl. ZenAku, one map on the board. I told you. This guy's been on the grind. He's been under that waterfall, man. He has been so hungry. And just like that, his first map against Rapha. And that was only map. We got more maps where that came from. But that alone is a great achievement that almost no one in the America side of Pro League has been able to achieve, and ZenAku has done it. That is impressive.
I think ZenAku might very, very carefully and cautiously start dreaming. What if, Ketchup? What if it isn't just one map today?
He needs to make sure that that thought does not enter his brain, you know, one map at a time. Look at Rapha. There's so many of these frags where ZenAku, it's his use of the scale bearer. You know, we talk about top level scale bearers, and ZenAku without question has one of the best because he's been just building large champions into his game plan for so long that he's just in the matrix with this kind of champion. You know, the ball rush was an integral part of so many of these pushes. But what a map. What a map.
What a map indeed.
He had to make a comeback too in the last few moments. And right here, the acid, there's like nothing he can do to survive. Oh, that was tactical. I think that looked like it was deliberate then in that case. Didn't quite catch it. When it said venomous, I thought the acid had killed him. Oh, that took him by surprise. Sorry, I'm just kind of patiently sitting here and looking for the player cams in these final moments. I'm very curious. What a sequence.
It looks like Season 2, or Season 1 rather, Stage 4, Rapha dropped a map against Saigip in the 4th week. But it happens so rarely for a man. I sometimes feel like you watch Rapha play stage finals against the best of Europe, and you're still like, There we go. He lost the map. He actually lost the map against what Wenger, Razy, Kilson. And now it's a weekly against ZenAku, the man who had to fight for his survival in the league in a relegation game just a few weeks ago. Now taking down Rapha. This first map might just be the beginning, Ketchup.
I very much did enjoy the confidence that we saw from ZenAku in that map, though. The fact that the moment we began, you know, he's looking for those kind of rail angles, he's hitting a bunch of really tricky shots, and he's playing with that kind of basically fearlessness. There's no reserved play there. And it just carried over for all 10 minutes. So he had to make a comeback. He pushed forward, had the right champion for the job, and he knew it. But now things get very different. We go into Veil of Nath, which has historically been a very successful map for Rapha. The very first player we ever saw start playing this map regularly and destroying people was Rapha. This was Rapha's map for the longest time. And he's got a really good pick for it. You know, he's got the Galena. This is the Ranger he's going up against now. And I definitely think on paper, the advantage does pretty significantly go to Rapha in this situation. And remember, you know, we're as excited as we are. It was merely one map. We still have 2 more to go. The series win can still go to Rapha, by all means.
Absolutely. Last map, though, is going to be Exile. And that is one that I saw ZenAku win during practice. Rapha now focusing on this map, though. Quick aggression, dropping down from behind. ZenAku not ready for that blast of LG. Rapha using that to get some decent control of this side of the map. Heavy will be the first item to spawn. ZenAku does not want to stick around for this. He knows that he's out of position. I'm liking this play from Rapha. Doesn't go for it straight off the bat, but tries to gauge his opponent's reaction first. ZenAku, hyper-aggressive once more. Absolutely no respect given, it feels like. He's just pushing Rapha.
This is kind of what I mean, though, Flea. He's playing, as weird as it sounds, he's playing like he's not against Rapha, and that's clearly the approach here. You know, there's always this nature of, I'm not saying that other people do play like that, by no means, but it can feel so important, no matter what the game, when you're against someone who is a champion, you just cannot let their, basically, stature get the better of you and make you doubt any decisions. You know, the game is still the game, no matter who you're against, and ZenAku just playing his game, and playing it well so far. But Rapha, with the advantage of stack still, trying to get that all-important information. There's the immediate denial. Matters quite a lot now. You know, Veil of Nath, we're used to seeing this be the map. You see large champions, but with mediums, those light armors become so much more important. If you control them, then the opponent has very little to work with in terms of being able to stay alive, and now really keeping ZenAku between a rock and a hard place. ZenAku tries to escape with the orb, does manage to get away, but is he delaying the inevitable? Oh, what a rail from Rapha! He does take away the Mega at the very least, but this is still a tricky situation. Perfectly executed by Rapha, who just put in that stranglehold.
Rapha's aim sublime in that situation. The rail threading the needle through the gaps on that walkway, and then the rocket to do some damage as well. Beautiful. Getting himself 1 frag up. Picking up Heavy immediately as well. And now just keeping Mega on lockdown.
And a solid lead for Rapha indeed, as he has a significant amount of stack. And he is in that kind of all-important part of the map, right, Veil? You control that high ground in the center of the map. You have all the information that you could possibly want. Hasn't really got to worry about getting resources anywhere. ZenAku trying to go for an orb, but there's really nothing there for him. And Rapha not only getting a frag, but a Heavy to boot. In position. Wow, ZenAku caught up top. Didn't quite look like Rapha was ready for him to be up there almost. But now the Mega Ball going in the favor of ZenAku. Can he do something with this is the question. Because now, doubling back in the teleporter, looking to push forward, super shotgun in hand. Elements of the large champion coming through, and the super shotgun's good to go. He gets a frag on the board.
Rapha dropping 1 frag, and now ZenAku looking to convert this into control. He should be able to secure Heavy, and is immediately making his way over to Mega as well. Rapha trying to zone him out of the room. Can he do so? Midi works. Mega gets taken away by ZenAku, and it is Rapha who drops down once again. That mid-air rocket just didn't drop his opponent down to the floor. Actually allowed him to pick up Mega.
Tasty tri-bolt just off the jump pad. Rapha ZenAku doesn't actually have a rail himself. If he did, I would have been a lot more nervous about him looking down near that angle. On the bottom section of the map. Rocket jump. Looking to push forward a little bit more. The timing on the Mega. Oh my good lord. Takes out rapha again. Gets both light armor and Mega. ZenAku. I don't know what he had for breakfast. Extra oats in the oatmeal.
Is this happening, Ketchup? Is this happening? ZenAku. A small lead, looking to extend it, should be able to. rapha caught between a rock and a hard place with nothing but a railgun to help him out. Will pick up that small armor of the spawn, but look at the stack advantage that the Australian is working with right now. rapha still applying pressure, quite a lot of it. One more rail or a good chunk of LG is absolutely going to pressure ZenAku into oblivion.
He had no choice but to change weapon though. He knew he was running out of cells. He heard it.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to fully dedicate. Whether that was either a blessing or a curse remains to be seen. Both players were quite weak. So who was going to win that fight? I guess that's just a matter of opinion, right? But either way, we're entering that 5-minute warning. ZenAku, quite weak here. But that orb, he's used it to slip the net on more than one occasion. And, I mean, we're going into the 5-minute warning. ZenAku looking to get a bunch of the splash. This is a difficult situation! Oh, God, okay.
Yeah. I think it felt like it was inevitable. Based on where rapha was placing those totems down, ZenAku beamed down. Perfect tracking from rapha right there.
Every avenue led to death.
Yeah. Oh! What? Pummel! Machine gun! How? ZenAku! Absolutely unconventional, unorthodox plays.
Who does that to rapha Flea? I don't know. Oh my god, and he hits 100 damage rocket.
No, he had such an advantage right there, but he lost track of rapha, dropped down looking the wrong way. And the American, of course, with the LG from below, can't underestimate the aim.
Now, I hope he doesn't get kind of too in his own kind of groove and pushes himself forward, just still against rapha, who has the patience to wait. If you overextend, he'll kill you for it.
rapha, indeed, can be one of the most patient players in the entire league, but also has got the aim to make these bursts of aggression possible. Just look at that little flick as he comes blazing through the doorway. ZenAku once again trailing behind. Still plenty of time to work with, but he is in a bad spot. Doesn't have much more than the railgun to help himself out with.
Really nice rails, though, to shut down that heavy. Hits 2 of them on rapha and kind of evens the odds. Orb is ready. Hits the rail again! ZenAku, what is going on with this accuracy? Almost takes out the trade, and I mean, the death will be assured here. I mean, there's no way he's going to survive that, but he's pulling out these incredible frags. Unfortunately, rapha, the perfect call out. I do fear a little bit that ZenAku's getting a bit too in his own groove here.
That one was a mistake. Absolutely. I don't know if he thought he could get rockets before rapha did, or if he just had done enough damage to make the machine gun work. Neither of those were even remotely true. And now it looks like rapha might be running away with this more. He's got, of course, the totem to work with as well. ZenAku, he needs more of these wonder rails. He lands it. Yeah, the trade. rapha does get the better spawn. But ZenAku again picks up his own trusty railgun.
ZenAku's rail has just been... I'm looking at it, like, he's only got, like, technically 48% accuracy, but the rails he has needed to land have been surgical. Now, the orb towards, unfortunately, not really able to get any damage, didn't have the weaponry to make that count, and it does look like it's starting to fall away from him a little bit. 2 minutes on the clock for 3 frags. This has been a roller coaster of a map.
ZenAku pressuring rapha like he is not used to being pressured, at least not in a weekly. But you're right in saying that he has got to be careful that he doesn't push it too far, and that does seem to be the case. These relentless pushes head first into rapha's aim haven't really been working out. Good rocket as well. 49 points of health on rapha. ZenAku, can he find the shot? Doesn't even go for it.
He chose to be safe.
Yeah.
But he has to deal with the Galena that's got a totem down. That totem actually saving rapha's skin. Looking for the teleport now, rapha. Very weak. ZenAku, weak as well. In position for the Mega, but here comes the Heavy. An opportunity for one player to take both of them, which could give ZenAku quite the edge here, as rapha is just left picking up the scraps that are left, but he's the one with the 3-frag lead. This is his opportunity to tie things up 1-1. It's crazy to think that ZenAku has been this close to taking out rapha. 2-0 this could have been, if just a couple of things went different.
Rapha's such a clever player. If you look at him going through that rocket room, so many players would have gone for both of the bubbles. Rapha only picks up one. Why? Because he knows that those few steps over to the left might expose him to a rail angle for ZenAku. So he just sticks to that one side and gets out of the room as fast as he possibly can to first pick up a small armor and then go back for the health. Really clever micromanagement to just minimize the risk, and that's exactly what we know Rapha for. ZenAku, half a minute left to work with. This is an opportunity. He should be able to get this frag at least, but Rapha's rockets are brutal, and ZenAku, the Australian, unable to make it work. This is going to be Rapha's map, tying it all up 1-1. But ZenAku, he's still got a shot.
But was that a comfortable map for rapha? Not a chance. Not even close. He was able to take the lead at the last minute. ZenAku pushing harder than I've ever seen him push anyone. Didn't quite manage to work out, but it came damn close. How close he was to getting 2-0 over rapha? That would have been, I think, the biggest upset we've ever seen in any weekly of Pro League. But it's 1-1. But rapha had to fight for that. He had to fight tooth and nail for that. So we're going into the next map. I'm very curious. I mean, even an almost total even split. We have, it's 10 heavies, 8 megas for ZenAku, 10 megas, but 9 heavies for rapha. They both picked up 24 lights. Like, that was such an evenly matched map.
Rapha doing most of the damage though, around 900 more points of damage than his opponent. Those were instrumental in securing him the win. ZenAku, especially the first half of the game, so close. But I do agree with you, catch up towards the end, it felt like he just got a little bit too comfortable with those rushes because they were working out in the right situations. But then towards the end, yeah, that kill, the gauntlet into machine gun rapha.
No one frags rapha like that. No one, not even Razy, and Razy's the master of the gauntlet. That's the crazy business right there. But ultimately, you know, we can pull apart these individual frags and how close this was, but it will be rapha taking the win. And it was down to that shift in gears, ultimate defense, which paid off. And it was his pathing, being as safe as physically possible, working out for him in the final stage. But here's the curveball, Flea. Our next and final map is Exile, which is a new map. If ZenAku has some kind of trick up his sleeve, whether he's more used to it, who knows? If you're 1-1 against rapha in a weekly and you're just about to play on a new map that you know well, assuming ZenAku does, this is actually a pretty good chance for the deciding map, isn't it?
Absolutely. I don't think that ZenAku could have wished for a better map to decide this series. When I was watching their practice games last week, this was one of the maps that ZenAku managed to win. He managed to beat rapha on Exile. Yes, it is a new map. There's a lot of little things that can go wrong. Some slippy surfaces with deep drops.
Slip sliding away.
Absolutely, and I think that ZenAku, I don't know if he's better prepared than rapha, but I do feel like rapha's relative inexperience on what it's inevitably going to be that case on a new map might help out the Australian player.
I'm really excited to see how this map goes.
Me too.
I think that first map with ZenAku was one of the best maps we've seen in Pro League so far, especially with the weekly show. That second map was this close to being a 2-0 in the favor of ZenAku. rapha pulled out the clutch at the last minute, and now, new map, Exile. The decider between rapha and ZenAku. The absolute David and Goliath story. Let's go. Let's see how it goes, Flea.
Indeed, as we're starting it off on rapha's point of view, running the Nyx against the Doomslayer. So a bit of a base stack advantage going in favor of ZenAku. But of course, Nyx has got that Ghost Walk to work with, can get out of tricky situations with relative ease, but it looks like rapha just wants to use this one aggressively. ZenAku with the shotgun can't connect, misses every one of those shots. That was a risky play by Rapha, because if 2 of those shots ended up being big chonkers, that could have been an easy frag for ZenAku.
Very Doom Eternal fashion as well. That double point-blank shotgun, that's how we roll over in those streets. But with it being a 1-0 for Rapha, all the same. Oh, not quite able to punish. Looking for it, though. They do trade off the item for the item. Mega for heavy. But this is such... I mean, you can just see it's such a tricky map to even traverse around. You can really see from Rapha's point of view, the wall jump is probably going to become quite the popular tool for this map. I think we'll probably see Nyx quite a lot.
Rapha trying to zone his opponent out of the room, ensuring he can pick up Mega. Uncontested, that's a good rail. That burns off a lot of that major item that was just picked up. And now ZenAku secures heavy as well, but he's got the low ground, and we all know that that doesn't usually work out. Rapha, 60 points of health, has to make a run for it, still railable. ZenAku, can he find the angle? Fortunately for him, he won't be able to.
Oh! That rail almost pushing Rapha into the abyss right there.
Rapha still dangerously weak right now. Sticking to these back corners of the map that you rarely see players traverse.
But Rapha able to do it, biding his time. The objective really is just building up that Ghost Walk, and he has been able to do so. As part 1 of this sequence complete, we now have that kind of get out of jail free card if we need it, and at the same time he's built that base stack up to a really healthy amount. There's the opening there from ZenAku, but not before Rapha returns the favor with some pretty impressive rocket damage. ZenAku, does he push forward? Looks like he's doing it. Did not expect them to be around that corner, and that's a surprise attack from Rapha. And now with the Mega in play, actually should be able to reward himself.
Yeah, gotta be careful.
New map, folks, come on. It's fine, new map.
Small fumble on a jump like that sends you falling down into the depths. ZenAku unable to match Rapha's LG right there.
Rapha has been so slippery on this map so far. It's been so hard for ZenAku to chase him down.
That jump, though.
Yeah, it was
Rapha,
really
that
cute.
wall jump up
Big
to the
fan.
small armor. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
I thought this map is going to be full of that stuff. Wait, there's the Ghost Walk. ZenAku looking to push forward, but it will be a super shotgun. He doesn't get the damage somehow! Doesn't get the damage on shotgun! What?
Rapha just kind of whiffing a crucial shot, and now it's all
Doomslayer,
tied
man,
up.
too angry to die.
But still, ZenAku, he is not in good shape right now. Managing just 60 points of health, finally picking up at least some armor to work with, but he cannot contest for heavy just yet. Looking to maybe deal a little bit of exit damage on Rapha, but that's going to be it. Good rail there too.
Definitely knocked Rapha off course as well. Rapha doesn't actually have a rail either, remember. Getting that rail, it does feel like quite a tricky business on this map. Not the fact that you get the rail, you've got an armor, yeah, sure, but there's so many ways you can just get knocked off the map down there by one rail in return. Now ZenAku weak. Easy pick up there for Rapha, and a pretty good spawn as well. Oh, he's looking to push him off. Almost had the right call.
ZenAku just knew that he couldn't jump again right there, because taking to the skies would meant getting pushed into the hole by that LG knockback. Carefully maneuvers himself out of a tricky situation, and actually not doing half bad when it comes to stack. Rapha delaying Mega a fair bit. Oh, can he get across? Indeed he can. Takes another rail for his trouble. ZenAku wants to find the kill shot, but Rapha barely makes it out.
Anyone jumping down there and doing a 180, not looking where they're going, makes me well nervous. Oh, there's the rail on ZenAku. And an opportunity for Rapha to extend his lead, give himself some all-important armor. The drop down on the armor for ZenAku, but he spawns near rocket side, which means he at least has some damage to put through that Rapha needs to respect.
ZenAku doesn't have LG, doesn't have rail. Extremely limited in the kind of fight that he can take. Drops down, picks up the rail gun, but takes 90 damage to go with it. And now Rapha has got a pretty nice rotation going on. Plenty of time between the items to move between Mega and Heavy. Cleanly and freely. Now we should secure the armor as well. We're only halfway through the map. ZenAku still has got plenty of time to work with. But Rapha has been dominant recently.
Hasn't quite hit some of these rails, but they are tricky shots. You know, he doesn't want to make his position too extended. one of those tricky kind of rails to hit where it's, if I get the damage, good, but I don't really want to take damage in the process. Now, rapha, as you quite rightly said, he's got an impressive sequence going here. He's got the timing on everything. And ZenAku knows that too. If it's out in the open and it's about to spawn, he probably thinks there's something fishy going on. He does not want to push in too hard, but it will be allowing rapha to push forward, take the heavy all the same, and just keep this comfortable lead at this stage. He has all the damage, the weapons, he's got the ghost walk. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Oh, and now he got that rail. Yeah, indeed.
Those rails are really the bane of ZenAku's existence, it feels like. rapha just constantly challenging him. Won't let him escape there either. And now, this is what we often see from the Liquid player, right? Once he got that momentum going, he's got both of the items perfectly timed and lined up.
God, that's one way of answering back to Berserk.
Loving the patience, just waiting, letting his opponent get right up into his face until he can see the white of his eyes, and then pulling the trigger for maximum point-blank damage. Hang on, though. ZenAku doing a significant amount of damage right here.
It ain't quite a good super shotgun blast unless you can shoot their eyelashes off.
Heavy still going to rapha. ZenAku hasn't picked up a major item in quite some time now.
ZenAku taken by surprise again. This aggressive Ghost Walk game of rapha has just been overwhelming and so tricky for ZenAku to find an answer for. It was an interesting start. Maybe, dare I say, could have been the sequence of something great here for ZenAku, but this is quickly falling away from him. I love that jump very much.
rapha has just been so effective on using the ghost jump. He is not waiting until he needs it, nor is he saving it exclusively.
Ooh, extra height as well for the damage. ZenAku, the Berserk to try and escape. Oh, that's it.
rapha is just, it seems like he's constantly using the Ghost Walk, not just when most players would use it, but just to keep his opponent on his toes and constantly apply pressure. Yeah, ZenAku knew exactly where he was going to reappear, but the mega pickup came through clutch, and rapha, 3 points of health. ZenAku, 2 minutes for 6 frags. That is a tall order against the best player in the world.
Looking to drop down and get some super shotgun damage, but it looks like rapha has the upper hand. ZenAku does manage to seize it at the last second, but not before rapha does enough damage to make it so ZenAku can't really challenge and chase. Now, he has to dedicate to this rail. He has to try and get some frags now. Time is not on his side. 5 frags in less than 2 minutes. No easy task. And ZenAku drops down. Make that 6. What should be a comfortable map win for rapha at this rate.
Indeed. I don't think ZenAku has the opportunity to make this happen still. Especially not when rapha keeps firing off shots like that, the 100 damage coming through on the fadeaway rockets. And all that means is that ZenAku has to spend another half a minute at least restacking before he can even push his opponent. And with a minute left on the clock, you just don't have that kind of time. rapha, supremely strong right now. ZenAku manages to steal away a major item. Definitely outclassed when it comes to item and map control this time around. And this will be rapha, the Liquid player, once again getting a win on the board.
But what a set this was.
Yeah.
This was the exile at the end. This was a difficult map here for ZenAku. rapha has just been putting on that classic rapha factor, you know, where it just feels very hard to challenge. He has a perfect cycle of everything. This map's only been out for a little bit in the competitive realm, and he's already looking well acquainted with it. But how ZenAku made him fight until the last minute for it. Now, this last map was a different story, but ZenAku gave one of his best performances today. And I think it spells good things to come, perhaps. And you know, maybe we should be paying a bit more attention to him. Now, 3-0 on Dewey last week, making rapha sweat this week. ZenAku, bit of a sleeper hit, I think.
This series, it made the hard race catch up. I don't think anyone could disagree with that one, rather. ZenAku, that first map win, so clutch. The second map, so close, came down to the final minute. rapha really was pushed to the limit this time around. Yes, Exile, the final web, comfortably went in the Americans' favor, but ZenAku clearly proving that he can duke it out with the best.
I think it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I can take away from that is that it was an incredibly fun series to watch. And we had the clutch factor of ZenAku at the last minute of the first map, the second map and the crazy back and forth that took place, and then the opportunity to just see Exile. You know, a new map to the table, 2 different playstyles brought on top. Rapha putting on a masterclass of it already and being able to keep his spot. You know, that 2-1, not an easy result, but a result that Rapha will take. And he'll be happy to do it. For ZenAku, it's a great, I think, demonstration of what we can maybe expect for him later in the stage, where I think he's one to watch. Absolutely, and this week proved that, without question.
I think a big question now is ZenAku going to follow in Chain's footsteps, right? Chain, beginning of the Quake Pro League, starting off 14th spot. Then, towards the end, consistently making it into the top 6 worldwide, even challenging the Hank for that number 2 position in NA, and now one of the absolute best players in the world. ZenAku, similar story, although he started off even lower than that, working his way into the league by
ZenAku
playing
struggled
the
for an
relegation
entire
games.
season as well, didn't he?
Absolutely.
That very first season, he was able to keep his position, but he was not very successful on his debut stage. And then look at him now. That's the grind paying off as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, this might just be the beginning. For the first time, this stage, and we didn't even see it once in the previous stage, Rapha drops a map, and it is against ZenAku. That was a brilliant performance, and I think we've got a lot to look forward to when it comes to the Australian player.
Now, you lovely people at home have a lot to look forward to as well, because we are about to enter our first featured matchup of the day. It means we're going to be joined by DJ Wheat in a few minutes' time to break down some of the highest level games we've seen so far here in Stage 2. And while we prepare things, you know the drill by now, we're going to go for a break. See you in a bit.